Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, John the Date Dr. Clark, and I'm coming to you whether it's in the morning time, whether it's in the evening, or whether it's in the afternoon, or whatever. Either way, y'all, I got another very delicate slash sensitive topic slash saying I want to bring to your spirit, I want to bring to your attention. Are you ready? You know damn well you recognize those signs. You know damn well you saw those signs in the friendship, in the relationship, most importantly, in the marriage. But you decided to neglect them. You decided to overlook them. You decided not to listen to all the other signs and the other hints, and then your family and your friends and your constituents and your associates that were giving you the feedback that you were requesting. You decided not to listen. You decided to blame them, to say that they were being very negative. You decided to give yourself reason to believe that they were the enemy, not the person that was doing you wrong. But you decided to believe, you decided to convince yourself that those that were looking out for your best interests were those of an enemy spirit for you. You decided to convince yourself, you decided to believe yourself that your friends, your associates, your family, your loved ones were against you, were haters of you. But deep down inside, you knew that they were accurate. But what did you decide to do? You knew damn well that you saw those red flags. So let's talk about it. Y'all, we see the signs. No one's perfect. No one's innocent. Y'all, we're going to make mistakes. But we got to be very clear. We got to be very accurate. We got to be very mindful. We got to be very mentally and emotionally strong when we see these signs. It's time that we stop neglecting these things. It's time for us to stop doing these things. But y'all, let's talk about the signs. Levels of communication. When do they reach out to you? Is it throughout the day? Or is it pretty much during booty call hours? But we all know what it is. Y'all, we're adults. We're going to take it there this evening, this morning, tonight, or this afternoon during this video. Does he or she reach out to you between the times of like 10 p.m. and 2 or 3? Y'all, there's some things to talk about. Yeah, you have people that work second shift and third shift. But pay attention to the consistency. Pay attention to the red flags. There's nothing 100% or accurately wrong with the individual just, reaching out to you because they have a particular shift that they're working. But what if they don't? What if this is their only time that they're making for you, but they're not working a second or third shift? Could be a possible red flag, but I want you all to be mindful. I want you all to pay attention. Pay attention to that. What if they don't what if they don't take that necessary effort or that extreme or that advance to reach out to you? Something to think about it. But again, what are we doing sometimes as individuals? We neglect those red flags. We neglect those signs. What if they only decide to text message you? What if they decide they don't want to talk to you on the phone? What if things are either text message or just simply email? Y'all, it's already feeling like a scam. Imagine trying to purchase something off Craigslist, and of course, they don't want to talk to you. They're giving these spam-like numbers. They're only texting you, they're only emailing you. Y'all, it's time for us to start paying attention. It's time for you to stop ignoring those signs. You know damn well you saw those red signs. But that's another story. But who's here to judge? But let's continue. Imagine when we get into those arguments with those people, those same people that we decided to ignore those signs in reference to. But imagine how that argument goes. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. They're going to do everything possible to turn it into like a 180. They're going to turn it into like a 360. They're going to do everything possible to flip it on you. But why would they flip it on you, the person that was being harmed? Why would they flip it on you, the person that's now become the victim? Why would someone with good intentions do such a thing? Well, those with good intentions wouldn't do the necessary things to flip it on you. Those with great and necessary intentions would be able to accept accountability. But those with bad intentions, those that fit into that category of red flags, I'm going to say it again, those that fit into that category of red flags will give you everything that you don't want to hear. And that's the inability to flip. That's the ability to flip it on you, to do the 180, to do the 360, to make it all about them. because it's now your fault, but you're the victim. But you knew that. But you saw that already. But you saw that negative sign, that red sign, or that red flag weeks, days, months, years ago when you all had the communication exchange. But who am I to judge? I'm only telling it like I see it. But you knew damn well you saw that red flag. But let's continue. But why do we sometimes decide to flip it? I don't mean we as it's just in males, but I mean sometimes females do it a lot as well, but not to compare and contrast. Why would I want to flip it on you? Why would I want to create a 180? Because at the end of the day, if I have bad intentions, if I'm the true definition of a red flag, my desire, my ambition, my passion, my job, my career is to be manipulative. I'm going to say it again. If it's my passion, if it's my desire, if it's my career, if it's my idea, my job is to be manipulative. My job is to be able to flip it upon you. My job is to be able to create this type of 180. My job is to make it seem as though that it's no longer my fault, even though I know that it is. My job is to make you believe, to make you the center of the attention that it's your fault and that I'm now the victim. Even though I've been the one that's been the culprit, my job is to flip it on you, to make you feel as though that you're the enemy, that you're the criminal. But you knew that sign. You knew damn well you saw that red sign, but who am I to judge? It's very similar to being compared to a liar. What's the purpose of a liar? What's the purpose of telling a lie? The purpose of telling a lie is not to tell the truth. Something I just don't want you to know. But then again, you saw the sign. But let's continue. We talked about accountability. Let's flip it to like more of the materialistic things. The phone incident. Taking the phone each and everywhere he or she goes. Now, there's a difference being, territorial. That's a difference being, someone that has a lot of confidentiality. Now, I may have a lot of confidentiality in my devices. So, of course, I may be very guarded. I may be very hesitant on, using a particular phone around the house just because I have an audience. Now, I can personally use that / professionally use it as a disclaimer, but why are you bringing your phone everywhere you need to go? Is there something that we need to hide? Now, mind you, sometimes we go to the bathroom, sometimes we play our video games. But there's a difference, y'all, of just having your phone and playing video games and being on the toilet and being entertained versus being afraid to leave your phone around someone else. And it's not that sometimes that enemy or that manipulative individual is, it's not that they're afraid per se to just leave the phone. Sometimes they're more so afraid of the what if. A lot of times they're afraid that because I know that there's something in that phone that I may not want my significant other to see. And that's not just across the board for everyone. A lot of us, we have created a habit to bring our phones everywhere because, by all means, it's our phone. I know me, I like to bring my phone different places. If I'm going to the bathroom, I bring it, entertainment, watching stuff on Facebook. But, I have no fear of leaving my phone out. I have no fear of leaving my phone beside the bedpost if my wife is in there sitting down. Because my role, my passion, my job is not to be manipulative. My role, my passion, my job is not to give anybody a reason to believe that I cannot be trusted. But if I'm a red flag, if I'm an enemy, if I'm a criminal, I'm going to show you each and every sign that I'm a red flag. But if I know that I'm a red flag and I know that you're going to ignore those signs and those red flags, guess what I'm going to do as an enemy? Guess what I'm going to do as an opponent? Guess what I'm going to do as a criminal? I'm going to keep giving you those signs. I'm going to keep giving you no reason to believe because I feel as though that I'm invincible. I feel as though that I'm not going to get caught. I feel as though that I'm going to be willing enough to do the crime out in the open and you're not going to care. Pay attention to what I'm saying. You knew damn well you saw those red flags. Shall I repeat? But let's continue. A lot of times when we're guilty, a lot of times when we're very manipulative, a lot of times when we have those red flags, y'all, we become very anxious. We become very paranoid. Pay attention. Did you hear what I said? Did it sound familiar? A lot of times when we're exemplifying those red flags that you're choosing to ignore, a lot of times when we're doing manipulative things, a lot of times when we're being dishonest, a lot of times when we're doing dirt, we become very anxious. We become very territorial. We become very accusatory. Does that sound familiar? The same one that's giving you reason to believe that they can't be trusted? has now managed to flip it on you in regards to thinking that you're giving them reasons to believe that you can't be trusted. But you know you're not giving reason to believe. Remember what I said 5 or 6 minutes ago. The goal is to give an illusion of the 180, of the 360, of the ability to flip it on you. Why? Because I would rather make me the victim. Because I want to be able to get away with something. That's the mindset of the criminal. That's the mindset of the opponent. That's the mindset of the enemy. That's the mindset of someone trying to be manipulative. But you knew that already because you were too busy ignoring those damn signs. But you decided to stay. But let's continue, kind of something to be mindful of. Let's switch it up from like a psychological standpoint. Let's switch it up from a lover standpoint. You knew damn well you saw these signs weeks and days and months and years ago. But why did you decide to stay? Why did you decide to stay when he called you out of your name? And I don't mean bitch. I don't mean other curse words, because I would never say that. But you knew he called you out your name when he called you another name that was not on your social security card, that was not on your birth certificate. And he didn't call your name that was necessarily offensive. He called you another female's name, but you heard it, you knew about it, but you neglected. You decided to stay. What happens when you knew that your kids saw that mommy or daddy was unhappy? What happens when they kept inquiring things about you? What happens when those nights or those mornings or those days where you looked at your kids and you knew that it was probably the best interest to leave? What happened when your mind frame said, you know what, I'd rather stay because I don't want my kids to be in multiple households? What about those evenings? What about those mornings? What about those nights? At the end of the day, are those reasons, or is that a reason why you decided to stay? Think about it. An enemy, a criminal, an opponent will do everything possible to keep you around because he or she is able to benefit. And if an enemy, an opponent, somebody that's very negative, somebody that's part of the red flag, when he or she is able to see that that's your weak point in regards to the kids, he or she is going to make every notion to keep that relevant. That's what an enemy is going to do. But back to why we decide to stay. I'm a big proponent of kids. I love children. I have children. But at the end of the day, sometimes we can do more harm than good by keeping the relationship, by trying our best to keep the marriage, but based on just a simple fact of just the kids. Yes, the kids are going to be bothered by those things, but imagine how a child feels when he or she notices their parents not getting along, but they're faking it. A child is going to recognize that. A child is going to be just as hurt of seeing mommy and daddy not together. But would you rather have a question from your child saying, dang, daddy, you don't treat mama right. Oh, mom, why you keep letting daddy treat you this way? Why don't you just leave? Or would you rather have a conversation on, well, dang, daddy and mom, I kind of want you all to work out, but I know you all are much happier now. I really wish you all to work out. I mean, those questions begin to fade. But then again, what example are we willing to create? Would you rather create an example of, I'm going to stay and have abusive and aggressive relationship with my mom and my daddy because that's how I want my future relationship to look like, because it may appear right? Or am I going to do everything possible and exhaust all options to make things work? And if they don't work, then we're going to have to make a decision to separate. I want you all to be very mindful of those things when it comes to, talking about our kids. But before I let you all leave, think about it this way. A lot of times, y'all, we know these signs. It's making us sick at times, but we continue to neglect those signs. We know damn well that those are red signs. We know those signs that goes against our moral beliefs. We know those signs that go against our moral values. We know those signs that we prayed about, that we asked the Lord to give us stronger vision to be able to see, but also we asked the Lord to give us strength to be able to leave if those signs are indeed accurate. But what do we do when that prayer comes through? What do we do when we ask the Lord and Savior to help us with those strengths? What do we do when He presents those in front of us, which are everything that we requested? What do? We ask Him for strength. We ask Him to show us those things that we know that will be reason to believe that we should leave, but we don't. We neglect it. We ask for it, but we just wipe it off the table. We dismiss it. Y'all, I say to you now, if you're listening to this video, if you're listening to the podcast, if you're looking at my face, if you're looking at my Duke apparel, listen to what I'm telling you. Sometimes you can do more harm than good by standing in something that you're truly miserable in. A lot of times you can do more harm than good towards a mental, emotional, or psychological aspect of your children, because you would rather want your kids to inquire about things after noticing things are not working versus seeing your kids faking it, and while your kids seeing that you all are faking it, while your kids are seeing that you all are still aggressive and abusing each other, while your kids are seeing that you all are not getting along, while your kids are seeing that you all are just at each other's throats. Because that doesn't teach our kids anything. It teaches our kids that, no matter what, no matter the hell that we're going through, no matter the abuse, no matter how we talk down to each other, we're going to stay in it because it appears as though that we're stuck. Versus teaching our kids that we should exhaust every option to make this thing work. And if it does not, it's okay to go our separate ways. Those are some of the things that we can be teaching our kids, and we call it checks and balances. We call it striving for greatness. We call it exhausting all options to try our best to make it work. That's what we call it. But y'all, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to say these things, and I want you all to start making bigger, better decisions. Yes, it's tough. Breakups are not the best. Yeah, no one doesn't want to start over. No one wants our kids to see mommy and daddy separated, or daddy and daddy, or mommy and mommy separated, and I totally get it. But sometimes, y'all, we can be doing more harm than good. We can be doing more harm than good towards ourselves. We can be doing more harm than good towards our well-being, and also, most importantly, our kids. Y'all, it's time for us to stop ignoring those damn signs, because that's exactly what we're doing. We're ignoring it for popularity reasons. We're ignoring it because we don't want the world to see that things didn't work out. We're doing it because we don't want the kids to see that mommy and daddy didn't work out. We're doing it because we don't want to start over. We're doing it because we don't want to be alone. Y'all, it's time that we stop ignoring it. It's time that we stop trying our best to justify it. I can tell you 100 more of signs that we're doing, y'all. I can tell you one of those signs that I know that you're recognizing. But what am I doing if you're still going to go out and make those same bad decisions? But I say to you, it's time for you to do better. It's time for you to stop ignoring those signs. You know he or she is cheating on you. You know that you can't trust him or her. You know that sometimes things may not work out for our best. You know that you've given it your all. You know that you've exhausted every available option to make things work, and nothing is working. You know that you're unhappy. You know that your kids are unhappy. You know these things, but you're still staying. But again, this is your boy, John, the Date Dr. Clark. And if you all ever need me, feel free to look me up on my website, www.thedatedoctor.com. That's TheDateDocta.com. Feel free to follow me on my all my social media platforms, The Date Doctor. Feel free to look me up. If you need to email me, my email and my phone number is in each one of those bios that you may look up for all my social media platforms. If you need assistance, I do couples counseling, individual counseling as well. I got your back. But at the end of the day, you knew damn well you saw those red flags. It's time for you to stop ignoring them. You deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to be miserable and to settle. Do better. Have a good one.